So what I want to explain today is the three rules of a cheat meal. Everybody loves cheat meals. So the three rules of how to actually have a proper cheat meal. Okay. Now, what I do want to say first is in our community, we do not say cheat meal. Okay. Cheat meal inherently sounds like you're doing something bad. And if there's shame or guilt or negative emotions around something you're doing, the outcome is going to not be great. And then you're not going to enjoy the process and it becomes this whole negative experience. And then that's why cheat meals tend to be like turn into cheat days and we derail. It's because we went into them with the wrong mindset and intention. So first and foremost, when you are talking about cheats, indulgences, and treats, okay, what you want to just call them is it's a free meal, meaning it's free from measuring, free from tracking, free from the plan kind of thing. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, when it comes to the actual three rules of how to properly choose a cheat, aka a free, what we do is this. Rule number one, okay? You can eat whatever you want. You can eat as much as you want. It just needs to be pre-planned. All right? No spur of the moment giving in to cravings. Most of the time, our cravings pop up because we see somebody else eating it and we're like, oh, that's good. I want it. Eat. Shove it in my face. And do we normally even enjoy it? Maybe one bite, maybe two bites, maybe three bites. And then because it was this animalistic reaction and it was this impulse we gave into, we weren't really present, were we? We weren't really there. We weren't enjoying each bite. We weren't letting it enhance the experience and make a great memory with it. It was just, I saw, I ate, I regret. That's normally how cravings play out and cheats play out, right? I want this thing. I go for the thing. I regret the thing. And that is a very, very toxic pattern to repeat because now food has control over our emotions and it doesn't need to do that. We're not helpless like that. So if you're somebody who has cravings like this, and you still want to, ask yourself, how can I actually have cheats in my life without going overboard, right? How can I have one cookie instead of eating an entire row of Oreos? So the first thing, like I mentioned, it has to be pre-planned, right? So, it's your daughter's birthday on Thursday. You know this, you're going to a nice restaurant, right? That is pre-planned, all right? Not spur of the moment. When we do this, what you want to make sure is when you're pre-planning this cheat, I'm just going to say cheat from now on instead of the free because we all know what that means. When we're pre-planning this cheat, we are not planning the cheat as the main event. I'm going to say that again. The cheat is not the main event. Okay, we are not obsessing about the food we're eating. We're not sexualizing and fantasizing about the food we are about to eat. Okay, it's not like I'm gonna go eat ice cream and that's my Saturday plan. That's a little weird. Can you see how that's gonna be problematic with our relationship with food? If we hype it up and the big grand plan is to just eat, that's a problem. But that's normally how we have built cheats out in the past, right? Saturday is my cheat day. I'm going to enjoy it. And like that's kind of an event and an experience of itself is the actual cheat. But here's the hack, okay? It's pre-planned, but it has to be added into an event, into an experience. The cheat itself is not the main event and not the experience, right? So if it's your anniversary, it's not, oh, I'm just going out to dinner, right? Like that's not that fancy or special, right? We're not celebrating years of marriage with more food, right? Like we can do better than that. We could do better than that, right? You deserve to feel more special than a little bit of candlelit light, right? And then some bread that's going to make you feel bloated. So what is the experience you are planning that food can be a part of to make it better? Not food is the only part, right? So maybe you're going bowling and then to dinner, dinner and then a hike, right? Show, like a Broadway show and then a dessert cafe, right? It goes with an event. It is not the main event. Is that clear? We got to get that really clear because too often we restrict ourselves as women. So then we fantasize about the cheat to where the cheat becomes the main event and it becomes this huge hype up and dopamine hit. And then most of the time we build it up in our mind. It didn't fulfill the dopamine that we pre-planned it to, right? It could never. We built it up to be this amazing thing. And then you taste it and you're like, that didn't have the effect I wanted. So then guess what happens? you go back for more. That is why that happens. If you're wondering why you can't stop after one bite, it's because you hyped it up so much, it couldn't possibly be as good as you hyped it up to be. And so we're disappointed. We're searching for more dopamine. You will never find it, but we try to find it by stuffing our faces some more. All right. So if we want to break that habit, if you feel like you've been a slave to that habit, very simple. Pre-plan your cheats and make sure it's included in the main event, not the main event. That's rule number one. Rule number two is you can eat whatever you want. There is no good or bad food when it comes to health. All right. Of course, there's unhealthy and healthy foods. But if you are, 100 pounds overweight and you're eating broccoli and you're still overweight, that's still unhealthy. Right? So unhealthy is quite subjective. And so if we take the label of good and bad off of our food, then we can just eat because we want it. Not because we think we want it, not because we can't control our urges, not because somebody else was eating it and we want it just because we saw it, and not because it was in front of us, so we ate it just because. Right? You ever been to a party and we just ate it because it was there? No, we don't do that, okay? We eat whatever you want, but you must stop when you are full. So how do we do that? You start with small plates, and you can tell yourself, I'm going to go up back for seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths. I'm going to go back. There's nothing stopping you. You can go back as many times as you want. Start with a small plate, okay? And then just eat a little bit slower. That's it. And then you can go back and fill up your plate. And then when you are full, take a breather and stop. And if that fullness goes away, go back and eat some more. But we are listening to our body cues, not our animalistic brain that says, eat it! You're going to starve! There's a saber-toothed tiger that's going to eat you tomorrow, so you got to enjoy your last meal now. Right? We live in the 21st century where that animal brain protects us, but sometimes it doesn't serve us anymore, especially when it comes to food. Okay, we're not cavemen. We know where our next meal is coming from, and we can eat whatever we want whenever we want, and we can get it whenever we want. Okay, we're not in any scarcity when it comes to food. Just because you have a craving for brownies doesn't mean you need to eat the brownie. If you truly want the brownie, plan it into your week and then eat the brownie when you planned it. Because guess what? Half the time you're going to realize you didn't want that brownie anyway. Which is awesome because then you can choose what you really want instead of giving in to the first instinct that you have, that first impulse. All right, so rule number one, pre-plan it, included in an event, not the main event. And rule number two, eat as much as you want, but you got to stop when you're full. So you got to be present. You can't eat while you're standing. You can't eat while you're driving. You can't eat in front of a TV. You got to be present, have a conversation at a dinner table, okay, at a restaurant, at a cafe. You have to stop when you're full. Push the plate away. Put your napkin on your plate when you're full. You can always go back for more. But you got to listen to your body cues if you want your body to start telling you the right cues. If you really want to be able to listen to your body, you got to first listen to it. Okay? So that's the second rule. Third rule is never eat anything that is for your cheat meal that is less than an 8 out of 10 on the taste and the satisfaction scale. Never. And if you don't have access to anything that is an 8 out of 10, you skip it. It is not worth it. You will feel like crap. You will be bloated. The scale will go up the next day. You will not sleep well because you're stuffed, and you will feel guilty, regretful, lethargic. It is not worth it. You all know what I'm talking about. We've all ate that thing just because it was there, and we all felt like crap the next morning. And if we do that, it tends to spiral, let's say, our whole weekend. Right? We have a bad Friday night, rolls into Saturday, Saturday rolls into Sunday. I'll start next Monday, if you even do. Right? How many people have been stuck on that cycle? So only pick food, plan food, and eat food that's an 8 out of 10 on the taste and satisfaction scale. All right? And then if you stop eating when you're full, you don't feel gross. You don't have to unbutton your pants. You don't have to take a nap. You can still be present and enjoy, and it made the experience wonderful instead of ending the experience because now you feel gross. Right? And then it's downhill from there. So those are the three main rules. All right? And this is something that you need to practice, okay? I don't expect people to ace tests they haven't studied for. So if you think that you're going to ace a cheat meal or you're going to ace a party, a holiday, a vacation, get an A+ grade, I think you're going to set yourself up for failure if you haven't really practiced healthy habits and these three rules when it comes to going off plan and things like that. I don't expect you to get an A+. In fact, you haven't practiced. In fact, normally we do the exact opposite of practice. We either avoid, right? When you're losing weight, I'm hiding in my house. I'm canceling all my plans. I'm a hermit. I'm gonna struggle through this, right? Normally we avoid the entire, practical side of weight loss until we can't avoid it anymore, and then we explode. We blow out. We gain our 10 pounds back in 2 weeks that took us a month to lose, right? So I don't expect you to ace a test you haven't studied for. And please don't expect that from yourself. Because what happens is you think you're going to go into it. You've created this pretty strict plan and we can't live up to it. So now you're disappointed, discouraged, and think you failed. Whereas if we go into the event expecting, or into the cheat expecting, I'm not going to ace this, what grade do I want to see? C+, B-. That's more realistic. That way you can leave the cheat, leave the event, whatever it is, feeling accomplished and proud, instead of, oh my God, I screwed up again. I repeated the same pattern again. Okay, I just want you to try. And then the more you test yourself, then the better grade you can get. But if you're going from years of dieting, years of avoiding, and then being in an extreme all or nothing mentality when it comes to food that's off the plan, or not knowing how to handle real life stress, all that stuff, you will be in trouble if you don't set your expectations right. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to do around the mindset. And I would also say, when it comes to cheat meals, make sure you have a next day plan. Because how many times has your cheat meal rolled into a cheat day, rolled into a cheat weekend? How many times? Every time, maybe? Maybe pretty much every time, right? So what you need to do is you need to have a plan for the next day to break out of momentum. It is very normal and expected that it will roll into the next day. That is just physics. It is momentum. Whatever direction the momentum is, which is junk food and negative, it's going to want to keep going there unless you put things in place to stop it and redirect it. So how do we do that? Well, you need to make sure you have a plan the next day, okay? So maybe you don't go out that day. Maybe you're staying home, you plan your workout for 9 a.m., you have your clothes, your workout clothes laid out on your dresser, so you do first thing in the morning. You told your hubby that you're leaving at 9 a.m., so that's all planned. You have to go, right? You've meal prepped the lunch. You have these things in place that are safeguards to make sure that you build momentum in the good direction again. That's what a lot of people miss. They think just because the cheat day is behind me, and even though it wasn't good, it's behind me. It's not behind you unless you strategically, intentionally try to get your momentum moving in the other direction. Okay? Because you do not want a cheat meal to turn into a cheat day because you feel like garbage. You feel like absolute garbage, especially if you've been eating well and then you eat not good, unhealthy, junk food. You will feel like crap. You'll get a food hangover. You might even make yourself sick, right? Because your body likes eating healthy, right? Which is a good thing because now you're going to be deterred from eating bad. But also it's just another way to make you practice portion control and balance. Okay. And because we need to start realizing that food is not a reward, right? How many people start my free challenge and then say, I can't wait for my cheat meal, right? So you're telling me you're going to be healthy for 6 weeks and then reward yourself with unhealthy food. Does that make sense? I'm going to be strict, and then binge and gorge myself and eat all the foods I missed. Doesn't even make sense. Chill out, breathe, chill. Food is not a reward. Food is a reward for dogs. You're not a dog. Check out how crazy dogs go over food. You ever seen those crazy dogs? Usually labs. Labs are crazy. And they go wild for a treat. They can't sit still. Their bums wagging. They're jumping up. They're excited about food. We don't need to feel that way about food. But we've trained ourselves to feel that way about food because we've used it as a reward. So I would encourage you, if you're on a health journey and you are being a little bit strict in the beginning because you want to see fast results, nothing wrong with that. Incorporate cheats when you can, like I mentioned with the 3 rules. That way, when you're done your healthy journey, it's not like you're in, you're out to lunch and you're in the cold all by yourself. You have some practice under your belt. But also learn and rewire your brain to reward yourself with different things. Get dopamine hits and fantasize about different things. I'm finally going to book that vacation I wanted for so long, but I've been hiding because I don't want to be on a beach in my bikini. I'm finally going to go buy that really expensive pair of pants that I was waiting to buy because I never fit into them. I'm going to treat myself with a facial, getting my nails done, getting a new book, going on a hike with a girlfriend that I haven't seen in forever. There needs to be new things that you reward yourself with, or food will always win. Food is our default dopamine hit. We are animals. We die without food. It's never not going to be there, but if we use it as a reward, it will control our emotions. And that's when we bored eat, stress eat, all that stuff. Okay? So food's not a reward. If you follow these 3 rules with your next cheat meal, what I can promise you is you will not blow up. Perhaps the scale will go up a pound or 2 because you're full of food and you're inflamed, but you did not gain fat. When that cheat meal turns into a cheat day, into a cheat weekend, then you gain fat back. But if you go into a cheat meal with the right intentions and you've practiced those 3 rules, you do not gain fat. You literally can stay on your weight loss journey and enjoy cookies and cake and burgers and pizza. It is a process. It is a process that you need guidance for. Okay, you don't want to just go right into it, but it is a process. It is in your future, and it is very doable. Okay, there's no such thing as off limits or on limits food. Even when you're on a weight loss plan, even on my plans, you can have a cheat meal today if you wanted. But it's just weighing your options. Is that worth it right now? Is that not worth it right now? And that's totally up to you and what you feel in your journey. But the good news is there is balance, and you don't have to say goodbye to your favorite foods forever. But they also don't need to hold as much power over you as they have. All right, that's the good news. Over time, with this habit trick, you are not going to want cheat meals as much. You are not going to enjoy cheat meals as much. And you're going to feel much more in control when you do indulge. And that's what this is all about.